Tēnā koutou katoa Ngāti Parau, ko Hilton Koliahau, kai hautu mō Pākehiro Farms. Thank you for the opportunity to present a high-level view of our results for this past year. It's been a very interesting year for farming, with extreme conditions experienced from Christmas when conditions became very hot and dry, and it appeared that we were faced with a severe drought, through to some of the wettest conditions from April when Cyclone Debbie and Cyclone Cook brought almost 4 or 5 months of continuous rain to much of our region. Has created a very interesting year from a farming perspective. It's also reflected in some of the pricing movements we've seen. During the year we saw a significant fall in the price achieved for our wool, and only a small proportion of our wool clip is protected by the work we do with companies such as Merino New Zealand, where wool is produced for specific markets such as wool going into Smart Wool, a US hosiery manufacturer, and we also saw some significant adverse price movements for lamb, particularly early in the summer when it looked as if we were facing a drought. Countering this, however, has been strong growth in prices achieved for cattle, and this has affected both our commodity beef as well as our First Light Wagyu program, where some of the volatility witnessed in our traditional beef supply has been mitigated through forward contracts which allow greater predictability. In terms of our financial results for the year, our profit from farming at $890,000 was fairly close to the $950,000 we achieved in the previous year, and we're pleased to report that translated into a bottom line profit of about $459,000. So overall profitability has held reasonably steady. There has been greater focus on keeping our cost structures right while trying to maximise production. Overall production from the group was still around 397,000 kilograms of product, so it's not too different to what it was a year earlier, and we're pleased to see that a change in management with Luke Scragg and his wife Jane departing for new opportunities after 10 years and being replaced by Rob and Mary Andrews has allowed very high levels of production to be achieved. So those are some very good results. At the same time, we've been able to reduce our overall indebtedness by about $562,000. So a number of achievements that we're very proud of for this past year. One, we've maintained profit, and two, we've reduced debt. Looking forward, the future looks very, very promising. The PFL group is overexposed to its breeding operations, and increasingly we're looking at how we can increase the proportion of stock finished within Ngāti Parau. So this is very much behind our growth strategies, where we're looking to acquire relationships with other landowners, particularly within the Waipu Valley, where we know there is high quality land that could have higher land use and return better financial returns and create employment for us at home. And so for that model, we're looking to recruit a couple of hundred hectares in 2018 that we can plant high value feed crops on for finishing lambs and cattle to complement our market facing initiatives. At the same time that we're looking to develop these relationships with our relations at home, we're also thinking about the impact on the environment, and increasingly we're aware that farming can have a negative impact on the environment. What can we do to protect our waterways? What can we do to encourage the regeneration of indigenous species, whether on the land or in the waterways? And how can we create a better place for our mokopuna to grow up in? We're also mindful there are other land uses. There's increasing interest in horticultural developments, and with the likes of the Mere Coalition who have hives placed on our Makarika property. So look, working with other subsidiaries is important to us. It means we can create a mosaic of land use and at the same time create opportunities for more employment at home. The significance of looking to acquire land in blocks of 200 hectares is that our modelling tells us that 200 hectares creates about 2.5 new jobs. So the additional employment in places like Tararo, Tiki Tiki, Ruatoria, Tokomaru Bay and so forth is probably more beneficial to our community than creating 100 jobs here in Gisborne. So creating jobs and creating high-paying jobs through using our land to its optimal potential is high on our radar. We've also been doing a fair bit of work looking at what the future talent pipeline looks like, and over the last few years we've supported a number of our boys from home to go through Smedley, to go through Waipawa and those places to understand what it means to be a farmer in this modern environment. And it's pleasing to see those boys doing very well in those sorts of institutions and going on to acquire tertiary qualifications. Because one of the issues for us is we want our own working at home, but we also want our own to get jobs because they're the right people for those positions, and the fact they're connected through whakapapa to the land should be a bonus. And the only way we can achieve the sort of future that we need to see at home with education, employment opportunity, the underpinning po that have been behind our driving philosophies, is to invest in that next generation of talent. Another area that we've spent some time focusing on is trying to understand the channel that takes product grown at home here on the coast, processes it, distributes it, and has it delivered onto the plate of a customer somewhere overseas. This has required us to understand what that journey looks like and whether we can extract higher value from being closer related to our consumers and trying to present product to them in a format that we would want it delivered in, as well as that they will pay a higher price for that. So while we need to be efficient and predictable producers of wool and meat, we also need to ensure that we extract a high enough price from the consumer so that that can be returned home to you, our owners, through the sorts of initiatives the company supports. Another area of interest has been leveraging our capability in management systems and sharing knowledge with things like our Wagyu program and our work with Merino New Zealand to try and improve the price points that are possible for both wool and meat. And we've been sharing these learnings through a thing called the Tairāwhiti Agri Hub, a group of like-minded farmers where we share some of these ideas, the knowledge, the lessons learned, in the hope that they will come with us on the journey PFL is undertaking, because ultimately we need all farms within Ngāti Porou to be strong and prosper so that our entire community thrives. We're also mindful that there will be changes in land use as the future, as we journey into the future. Some of those changes in land use may mean more planting, some of them may mean planting in native species such as manuka. There's also likely to be more land use change on the flats. So there is no reason why with modern horticultural systems we can't see a mosaic of land use on the flats that we're targeting for our finishing program. So being able to take people through the lessons we've learned and to ensure that they're well positioned for the future is important to us. So despite the challenges of the past farming year, we're pleased to be able to advise Ngāti Porou that our overall profitability has been similar to 2016, that we've been able to reduce debt, and that we are executing a growth strategy that we hope in turn will benefit our communities. Nō reira, tēnā tātou.